baseball card fever. I really got a baseball card fever. It started with my very first pack. A dozen.
Hey, what up, collectors? Diego here to take you on another Sports Cards Detour. This Detour here won't be featuring many cards. It's just me talking. Basically, my 5-year-old son asked me, "Hey, Dad, why do you collect cards, or baseball cards?" And I told him, "Well, I collect baseball cards because I like them and I like the pictures. I like baseball. I said I like the Phillies, and all of it reminds me of that." And I said, "Why do you like Pokemon?" And he said, "The pictures. And he likes to put them together." And I said, "Daddy likes the same thing. That's why Daddy taught you a little bit of how to collect and putting stuff into a binder, because Daddy collects that way." So anyway, that made me think. I really, for the band purposes, of the videos, which I always say I kind of make these for so they understand. I never really actually went out and actually talked about it. So the band, of course, are my 4 kids. Each letter of their name, of their first name, represents the letter in the word band. It was coincidental. My second oldest daughter, or my oldest daughter, is the one who figured it out and said, "Hey, Dad, do you know our name's spelled band?" And I was like, "Oh man, cool! It's Bandy, or Dad's Band, or something like that, something funny." But it was a cool coincidence that it's band, and I played in the band and stuff like that. But anyway, so I'm gonna get back to the baseball card. The reason why I like baseball cards is because I do like baseball, and ever since I moved in with my father, I think that's when I really found baseball. I remember watching Cubs games. Like, we had a satellite TV, and I used to watch Cubs games there. But before that, I had no interaction with baseball cards. I was actually I did know one baseball card, and that was because I was in a foster home, and I remember my foster parents, the foster father, he had a baseball card in his truck. I can't remember who it was, but I do remember the card being like a wood grain. So it might have been something from the early 50s, and Hispanic player from that era. But anyway, I go on. And we're living in a foster home, and we go. My dad comes and he gets us out. Like, we go live with him instead of with my mother, and I go from the city of Camden, New Jersey, which wasn't the greatest place to, and still I don't think it is any better, all the way to Franklinville, which is a wooded area. And I found myself, it was kind of hard for me to get new friends and stuff like that. So the friends that I did have were friends of the family, guys that my dad worked with. They would bring their kids over during parties, and the one kid introduced me into baseball cards. And I remember the cards were 1991 Fleer. They were a white card, and a white border card, and it said Fleer. That's how I remember them. And he also gave me like this thing to hold it in, which was a locker. And inside the locker, it basically had little slots for each one of the teams. That's why I think that's the reason why I had an obsession for the team, making teams on the baseball cards. But the other thing was, what I would do with the baseball cards was I would play games with them, keep stats. I would look up how to play fantasy baseball. My dad ended up, and what I used to do was I used to use the stats, and I used to say, okay, if this second baseman is batting average of da da da, he gets a double, or if he's above the batting or the other player's home run total, he gets a home run or something like that. And then it evolved to my dad getting me this board game that had little baseball players, but it had these cards that used to tell you what to do. And the cards would say, like, the first baseman would fly out, third baseman, So I would make my baseball lineup and have the baseball cards in hand and use those as my guide to who I was going to bat where. And depending on what the picture was like or who I liked on that team, they were batting up in the top, and I always made sure that they were doing really well as far as stats. So I was always keeping stats and stuff like that with the baseball cards. It was more baseball cards when they were given to me. They were more of a game. I used them more to play with than anything else. I didn't really have a social life, and even though I was probably 15 going on 16 during that summer. I really wasn't too familiar. Like I was getting myself familiar. I wasn't as outgoing as I am. I'm still introverted, in a way, but I'm a lot louder nowadays in certain situations than I was back in the day. I was just real quiet, skinny kid, and I did not say anything. I did not say anything, So since I was on a shorter stature, I was a lot skinnier, a hell of a lot skinnier. I think I graduated and I just broke 100 pounds, but and then I blew up. Um, but back then I was little and skinny, and everybody used to tell me I belonged in elementary school, so um, I would always hang out more with the kids that my dad was bringing over, and when they brought me baseball cards, it fueled the fire. And then I remember my dad was selling stuff at the flea market, and I remember walking around and I saw some stuff for baseball cards, and people were selling like one big box for $1, and I was like, I gotta have those. So I started feeding the baseball cards things through there every so often when I got to go with my dad to go sell stuff at the flea market, and then like um, probably like 16. I was probably 16 when I found out where a baseball card store was, and it was pretty close by. So my dad, my mom, when she had to go to the store, she would leave me there in front of the store, and I would go in the store and I'll just kind of wait there for her to come back. But like I was the baseball card owner. The store owner would give me some baseball cards, and then I'd buy some. He'll talk to me and ask me know about what you like. And I remember I bought a Mark Grace um, autograph there, which was it was a baseball card ball, and it was the cheapest one. Actually, I had no letter of authenticity or anything like that. He probably took my money, but he also bought it back for me too when I asked him. Like a couple years later when I ended up having my son. So anyway, so in 1990, the years flew by pretty quickly. 91, 92. 92 was the last time I started collecting because I started getting into girls, and um, I I was getting a little bit more social in high school. So I was kind of like a flower, kind of opening up to the world, finally hitting the sunlight, and I talked to more people. I was playing baseball. I was having a good time and stuff like that. And then I just kind of let baseball cards go. And then I ended up finding out that I was going to be a father, and that even more so put it on the back burner. So I had to grow up pretty quickly. We'll skip by, and over the course of those years, I would find myself, so you keep on buying little baseball cards here, a little there. If I went to a flea market, I would pick some up. If I did this, I picked some up. I started getting into football, the other sports, hockey, and then basketball, and I would just keep on, picking up here and there. This is throughout I would say something like 99 or something like that. Um, my other interests were like playing bass. I used to be in a band. I love music. I started playing music. I would get into local scenes. And then in my adulthood, um, it, some personal issues were arising with my marriage, and it just wasn't good. And I found myself like I had like baseball cards that I had like at my dad's house, and a lot of them got wet. So I was trying to. I started looking back at those cards, trying to remember a better time in my life or a more happier time, and baseball cards were it. So I found myself as I was going through a divorce and being home alone a lot. I found myself going through my cards, just sorting them, going to the flea market, buying big boxes, and just opening them up, see what's in them. And it was something to take my mind off of everything. Um, it was something that just made me feel better. I didn't have to deal with the realities that were happening at that time. Like I was dealing with them, but it just gave me a little bit of peace. I didn't want to always go to the bar to go have a drink and stuff like that. I just wanted to be home and turn on the TV and just sort some baseball cards. And that I guess that little bit of depression that was kicking in there led me to buy such a large amount. Like this actually came in happiness. A lot of this came in happiness. Um, but then I just kept on getting into baseball cards, and every time I see them, I kept on buying them, and it was just a thing. And then I found a new person, new life. I started a new life um, with I call her my wife, but we're not married yet. But I tell her, you know, I said, I told her about the baseball cards, and I told her, what it does for me. It relaxes me and stuff like that. And her stupid self said, it's kind of cute. She was a big mistake right there because that just gave me an open door to go to go buy more. But we moved in together and we had two wonderful kids. And during that time, I was still collecting cards because now it's a good time and I'm taking just more happiness with me. And I just get a little bit. I just went full hoarder mode, and that's where all this shit came from. You know what I mean? But the goal was to try and pick up a lot of the stuff that I did not get throughout my lifetime. Like I said, I have only been I would say a true collector, like somebody actually looking for cards, for not a very long time. I was into them, and I had a bunch of them when I was younger. And by a bunch of them, I mean like maybe 3,000 count boxes, 3,200 count boxes, you know. And now I'm up to like 24 of them or something like that. I could probably have 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, I don't know, 50 of those boxes. And then I have the never ending task of trying to organize them all. Um, so I just sit there and I just try and organize them by team whenever I can. I get out here and then um, uh, when I did get back into the hobby or starting to get into like the autographs and stuff like that, I came back in through breaks, and that was kind of like I had extra money, extra income, so it wasn't really bothering me. I do have that gambling bug from my father. We used to go to horse racing a lot, so I got kind of used to that stuff. And it was a little bit of that risk that was involved that I liked, and I would get some good cards, and then I started noticing that I'm wasting a little bit too much money on that stuff, and I could be doing other stuff with it. So I started balancing it out with, um, and reminding myself what my true intentions were. My intentions were, since I can't buy that whole box myself, if it's a high card count, why not just go for the card? Go for the Phillies cards in top series one, because if this breaker sends all the cards, I'm probably going to get all the cards especially from cases. I would get all the cards that I need. And that's how I started processing it. And then slowly I started joining like single box ones. As of late, I got affordable card breaks. I also have Pops and Tonys that I do. Um, Ben, Ben's Baseball Cards and Collectibles. He's on YouTube. Yeah, I'm in his breaks. I'm in a few different breaks. 3B collections with Twitter and YouTube. Like all these guys, like I get into their breaks because it just made they send everything. Some of them help with shipping and stuff like that, and I appreciate that. I also started doing some breaks myself to help other people, but I just found it like I was selling my breaks for like 50 cents for a team. It was a small little break, nothing big. It was just to get you some cards, so you could have a mail day, and I just stopped it because it was just getting too much for the cards out there. This was before the craziness, and then next thing you know, it's going crazy. COVID happened, and then everybody goes crazy. But um, yeah, so that's how I got back in. And then with the YouTube thing, with the YouTube channel, what I ended up stopping myself from doing breaks. I actually gave it up for the Lenten season, and I said I am not gonna go and buy into any more breaks because it was being a little bit intrusive onto my financial being. So I said, I'm not gonna do this on anymore. It's not a waste. It's a waste, but it's not a waste of money. Like, I was enjoying it, but it was still, it was, yeah, it's a waste of money. I mean, just it was a waste of money for the way I was doing it. So I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. Let me stop. But I still wanted that baseball card to see baseball cards, and that's when I got in. I hit baseball cards, and I was looking for card shops and stuff like that because everybody has that fantasy of having a card shop. Not and that's one of my things. Oh yeah, I want a card shop just like that card shop that used to help me out. I still go by the place and still think I could do it, but I just don't have that. But anyway, I keep on flipping off as the subject, but I gave it up for Lent, and then I found through those YouTube shirts I found Cardboard Junkies, which is Tops 85401 and Eric's Titanic Taters at the time, and then I just started getting immersed into their community. And then after a while, I see myself, and I'm like, I started doing videos, and I started doing videos under different aliases, and finally, the most steam that I picked up was when I was Sports Cards Detour. And I was doing a lot of videos. But then I found myself doing the same thing I was doing before, where I was just buying cards. Let me correct myself. I was just buying cards to buy cards anyway, but now I'm buying cards to just try and show off the cards so I had some kind of content, which was not the thing that I wanted to do either. I wanted to share the experience, but it wasn't that good. Anyway, there was a lot of negativity and just a lot of different things coming in, and then chiming. Like, I kept on hearing hobby stuff, like people flipping and all this other stuff. I said I need a break, and that's around the same time that I started thinking about ending the breaks that I was doing. That's why I have so many packs in the back of me. I was doing those little breaks of old packs and stuff like that. And I just said, I need a break. I need a way out of this. And I was having my daughter, who's now 3, she was coming into the world, and I just, or she was already here, and I was just like, I just need to get stop doing videos, get back to what I wanted to do. But in the long run, I was missing it. My son missed it. My son's 27, and he lives in Florida. And he said, hey, Dad, why are you not doing them anymore? So I told him, and he kind of misses them. Like, he'd like to see them. So my other kids were remembering the song that I use as an intro, Baseball Card Fever. I love that. Anyway, so it was getting to me to come back and do some videos, and that's why I'm back here doing videos. And although I'm starting to talk about the YouTube and not the cards, part of my card collecting is this YouTube experience that you have here. Showing off my cards. Also Facebook and Twitter. There's some little groups, niches that I'm in, with people that I talk to. And I don't exactly talk about the hobby. I don't get into grading, sports. I just like telling you, hey, look at this cool card I got. And I just want to hear, hey, look at this cool card I got. Or that I have in my collection already. Check this out. If you think, or those that give you a little bit of knowledge with it. Always a good time to have there. I like that stuff because what it is, it's just, I'm not going to get that here. I'm not going to go to my wife and say, hey, hon, look, I bought this Pete Rose card. Oh my God. Can you believe it? I got Pete Rose. Yeah, babe. And she's just like, it's cardboard. It's a piece of cardboard with some guy's picture on it. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to show it on YouTube. Hey guys, look what I got. And I'll probably get like 5 comments. I say, hey, Diego, great card. And I'm like, yeah, so that is the basis of why this even fuels my thing. It also helps me learn about collecting, how other people. Because I was going too long, the video actually stopped. But what I wanted to say was, the community helped me learn how to collect, learn what collecting's all about. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. It all plays into what the experience that I have today. And I'm keeping it a positive experience for myself. This video is way longer than I wanted it to be, but it was one that I wanted to make. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to go on this detour with me. I wish I could write, because sometimes I wish I could put these into words, like do a blog like other guys used to do, that are now on YouTube now. But if I could put these into words, that's what this should have been. But I hope this explains to the band how I started and what I use the hobby for and what gets me excited about it. I don't know. I don't know if that came across in this or explains anything, but maybe it gives a little bit, at least a little bit of knowledge to why Dad does what he does when he goes to the man cave. It'll all be worth it. So, guys, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for taking the detour. I know I said that already, but until next time, see you.